Nashville show pickups. Attended the Nashville show this past weekend. It's a 3-day show plus dealer setup the day before. This is a show that I normally do, and it was pretty solid. So from a dealer perspective, it did seem like the traffic was down versus normal, but still, I mean, it's a big show. They advertise nearly 1,000 tables, 9 something, so going to be a lot of people in there no matter what. Selling was really good. Buying was slow. And so I'm going to talk about most of these in depth and see what we picked up. This walked up, so that was good. Manning rookie auto. The very nice lady who brought it to me said that she sent a couple of cards to Peyton his rookie year to have him sign, and recently got him authenticated, so that was cool. Got to talk with her for a little bit. She had this and one of the upper deck, I can't remember which one, that was actually fairly rare, autographed, and so I valued it. She was looking for advice. I valued it significantly higher than the tops, and made her an offer on the tops that made sense, so happy to pick that up. This didn't make the last video. This our friend Theo sold me this at the Midwest Monster. This is a Randy Moss One Moment in Time gold auto to 10 with this rare edition grading. Cool card for the PC. This was from Through the Decades. I personally like when non-baseball players sign baseballs. I think it's interesting and unique. Magic Johnson signs about every 13 seconds on average, and although he's one of my favorite players, I just don't buy his autographs unless they're really unique. So this made the cut. That was a walking around the show pickup. So was this. So I had a really great conversation with a young man named Farley. I'm sure he's one of the 26 people now who will watch this video. My channel is growing exponentially. And I was having a good conversation, made a stack of stuff that I liked. This was on Sunday. And he sort of interrupted the conversation and said, this may be off base, but are you Bourbon Belt Cards from YouTube? And that is the first time that has ever happened. So shout out to Farley for watching. So I made a stack on Sunday of his stuff. Again, this was just walking around the show, and picked up a Jordan PSA 7 rookie, recently slabbed, looks really nice. The Reggie Jackson 1990 Upper Deck auto. This is the first autographed card ever inserted into packs. Another Randy. That's the 98 SP Authentic die cut in a PSA 8. And then a card that doesn't sell as often as you might think. 97 Metal Championship Hardware Kobe in the Steve PC PSA 9. So we worked out a deal on that. And Farley, it was great meeting you, and I appreciate the deal. This walked up on Sunday. I'm not going to take it out of there, but it'll be graded. Round Ball Royalty refractor with coating. Cool card. Found this walking around on Friday. These 1,000 stripe are, I mean, it's Tim Harris, so about 3 people on earth that actually collect Tim Harris cards. But 1,000 stripe, that'll That'll make a difference. I was explaining to a different dealer what these are, because he was like, well, it's a parallel, right? I said, well, sure, but Wildcard did this across a few different issues. So if you know this already and don't care, you can skip about 30-45 seconds. These were inserted in packs. They had 5 stripe, 10 stripe, 20 stripe, 50 stripe, 100 stripe, and 1000 stripe. And it is a parallel, and they were not easy to pull, especially the 1000 stripe. But what you could do is, if you pulled a parallel, you could send that card in, sort of like a redemption, and they would send you that many copies of the card. It's a really cool idea, really. And on the other side of things, if you collected so many copies of the card, you could send that in and get the parallel. I wonder if anyone ever did that. Collected 1,000 of a base card and sent it in and got 1,000 stripe. Maybe. That'd be tough to do. I think more likely it was the other way around. So I have actually purchased a collection in the past that had 1,000 of the base card, and I can only imagine that that person pulled 1,000 stripe, sent it in, and got 1,000 of the base card. So these are pretty cool. Same dealer had the mini Jordan from 91 Skybox. These came in like cello packs. I can't remember where they came from, but you just don't see those very often. Picked up this cool Magic Johnson auto from our friends at Greenies. Again, unique enough to make the cut for me in the gold medal uniform. And this is from, is it Opulence? Yeah, Opulence. So thank you, Steve, for selling me that card again on Sunday. This walked up. This is a Babe Ruth flip book from 1934. I'm not going to take it out of there. Obviously, you don't see these very often. That was $500. Same gentleman sold me this Illuminator, Charles Barkley, from 97 Stadium Club. He was unaware how rare this was, so I was explaining to him, again, if you already know this, you can skip forward. 3 versions of most of these. These were across different sets, across a few different years, and so they, on the surface, they look the same, but you have 3 versions. One version is a plain front and back. The next most difficult version is a refractor finish on the front and a plain back. And then the Illuminator is the toughest, and that's going to have a refractor finish on the front and a refractor finish on the back. Topps realized that was confusing after either the first or the second year doing that, and so they labeled them as such moving forward. But in the early years, you've got to do your research to figure out which version you have. So he was happy that, I was, of course, honest with him and explained that he's got, the toughest pull. The card does not sell often, and so he was happy to sell it to me at a really fair price based on that conversation, and I'm happy to pick it up. Home field advantage, Tatis in a PSA 10. I think long-term Tatis is a good buy. This starts to get into why am I buying this stuff, but he's one of the players that I pick up when it makes sense. Picked this up from Mike from Sports Cards Nonsense, along with some wax for the shop that I don't have here. So thank you, Mike, for that one. This might be the most unique card of the weekend. This came over to our friends at High Five Cards, who were set up across the way from us, good friends of ours. Ron knew that I would be interested in this card based on what it is. So this is from 2022 Topps. It's a Santa Claus autograph. I know there's some discussion about whether or not Santa Claus is real. I think this clears that up. It's also got a piece of, his suit. I don't know what more you would want to prove that he's real. So this is numbered 1 of 25. They did this the next year and they didn't number them, which makes me think there were a bunch more of them. So this card does not sell often at all, and just cool enough for me to pick up. So thanks to Ron for thinking of me on that. I buy the 93 Topps Gold Derek Jeter when I see it, and it's priced, reasonably. This was 25. I'm sure I probably got it for 20. I don't remember, but I would pay 25 too. So either way, I just think this is an iconic card that is still probably undervalued. And then I picked up some junk wax boxes, but I added this to the deal, the 90 score supplemental football set. This has the Emmitt Smith rookie card in it. So I will probably open this up and review the Emmitt for grading, and then be disappointed that it gets a PSA 8 in about 6 months or so when it comes back. So those are the pickups that were worthy of showing here. I picked up a large amount of other cheap stuff, dollar box digging and bulk digging, junk wax, stuff like that, but these were the highlights.